And we're back with part two. We're back with part two of the Raging Bars podcast. I hope you caught last week's episode. This is one continuous conversation, but we're releasing it in 2 episodes. And I'm here in Toronto with Chris Baker, my good friend and business partner. And we have special guests again for the second week here, Coach Jay Goff, who's become a dear friend of ours since 2017. But we all met because of Coach Giroux, who brought us together for a study of Think and Grow Rich back in August 2017. And again, gentlemen, thank you for being a part of our podcast. And we're going to continue our conversation on desire. And the one I wanted to throw something out at you, and maybe we can answer this one. What do you think the difference is between desire and what Napoleon Hill calls a burning desire? What would you say is the difference?
Can I take it?
Yes, please.
Sure. Well, thank you again for having us this week. I really appreciate the conversation and the fact that we are talking about something that's important. I think everything has a certain level of depth that we give it. And I think it's the aptitude of the energy that we give it. I think when we talk about your question, it is the desire that we have sat with, we've wrestled with, we've accepted, and we also challenged with. Because until you make something familiar, it's just nothing but an idea. Feels good. So to me, really, it was the difference is you've taken it and you've wrestled with it and you've worked it and you've gotten clarity and you've pruned what doesn't need to be pruned, and now this is an expression, a daily expression of who you are in everything you do. So to me, it's a deeper level of desire. If you ask me, it's a desire that has got work behind it.
Jay, what about your thoughts on desire versus burning desire?
I really, first of all, I appreciate you guys having us back on again for part 2, and it's great to be here with you. What Giroux had to say, I think really encompasses a lot. I think the difference for me, between desire and a burning desire, okay, you can stub your toe and it hurts, but you get over it. You move on, and then you forget about it. A burning desire, you broke your toe. You're never going to forget that one. Okay? You're never going to. And I only use that because I stubbed my toe this morning and it still hurts. So
it's still fresh on the mind.
It's still fresh on the mind. Okay. But I do believe that the burning desire, it to keep it simple, and we've all heard this before, is it keeps you up at night. It's hard to go to sleep. In the morning, you don't get enough sleep because it wakes you up early. And you want to jump in on that. You want to get started on that. You see the end result. I think the desire is attached to the end result that you see, the great vision, the grand vision. So all these small things you do every single day that leads up to it comes from that burning desire. But a lower level of desire, I think, is essentially, okay, well, there's some things I want to get done. I can't wait to get that done, but I'm not that excited about it. I think desire is something we want to do, but I think there's also a level of excitement and anticipation that equates to the level.
Would you say maybe like the difference between a want and a need?
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, I want this, or I need this. I need to make the difference. I need to impact these people. I need to, that's that fire burning within you to go out and achieve that which you desire.
Yeah, I think it's something, somebody comes to mind that had mentioned, that said this before, not here, but we've all heard it. We have heard this before because we're in this industry, right? Tony Robbins says it's got to become your must. When it's a must, when you want to do it, when you feel the need to do it, but it's a must. It's like this. To get a flu shot, you need to get a flu shot. Okay. I don't know how you feel about shots, but let's say you need to get a flu shot. You don't really want to get a flu shot. But when you understand the purpose and reason why, it becomes your must, so that you can be healthy and so that you can help others around you to stay healthy, at least that you're not infecting them. So it becomes a must. So that's one example of that. So that's where the need is determined into the must. Some people have a need based on selfish desires. Selfish. Yeah. Okay, how does that help you? How does it help others? I think it's okay to have some selfish desires. We got to take care of number one if we are to take care of anybody else, and fill those needs that we have. But I think there's an evaluation of exactly what level of need is it. Is it a need? Is it a want? Is it a must? So I think must would be the third level to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I listened to all of this, and there's some great points, right? And I think there's a truth in the fact that it could be different for each of us, right?
Yeah,
if we're
absolutely.
honest.
Yeah.
But I like the depth that Drew was talking about, and I think again, are we looking width, like broad, or are we looking deep, right? And again, I think that we could have wide desires, right, which would be maybe those shiny object syndromes a little bit, those distractions and things that we all see. And so in the moment we're like, yeah, I really want that, right? But the deep desire is the thing that really drives us and keeps us going, right? And again, that thing that, like you say, that keeps you up at night, that you keep coming back to, and it's like, I need to do this, right? It's in my core. It's the other ones may be the symptoms, but this is the core. This is the really what we've got to get right. And then everything else, like you say, it will follow that, and they will be things that, because we need those short-term gains, right? We need those low-hanging fruit, those wins, and sometimes we need those distractions, right? And that's healthy, I think, as long as as long as you're managing it and you're working towards that overall.
Right.
So I like that, and I think, I look at the wants, right? Do you truly want it, or do you want to want it because you think it's the right thing to do, right? In which case it's not really a desire, right? You think, oh yeah, well, everybody says I should do this, so I really should do that. Like going to the gym, right? I go to the gym because I need to get fit, right? Do I want to go to the gym? Or I get a gym membership to say, hey, that's a desire, I want to get fit, but do I really want to get fit, or do I just want to get fit?
Yeah.
I love the example.
Sometimes I say, and I said this with the kids, said this others, is that a need to have or a need to have? Is it a need to do, or is it a need to do? And differentiate those, and then you can determine, okay, where's my priority here? Does it align with my ultimate desire? And so I think sometimes we just have to stop and ask ourselves those simple questions so that we can make a quick decision on what exactly to do. Is it neat to have a 88-inch television, right, to watch the Super Bowl on?
I don't have
that. It's neat to have, but is it a need to have? No. So you settle for your 50-inch TV, right? And I think that's the thing in our priorities. So I think it's an adjustment of priority. What exactly aligns with what it is our ultimate desire to do? And so is it a need to have or a need to have?
Yeah, exactly. Drew, you wanted to interject there.
Yeah, no, I just really loved what Chris pointed out, because there's and it's both. I love, Jay, the way you distinguish for us the difference between need, want, and must, and I think that's really where ownership occurs. When I must, I take ownership of the outcome. I struggle with the word need, because for me, need comes from a very negative connotation, and so it really boils down to, if I must do it, then I must understand why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And then it boils down to, I love what Chris pointed out, because it's the same argument is most of us will go and spend a huge amount of money to buy a BMW that goes from 0 to 60 to 130 miles in 60 seconds. Most of us will never, ever be in any circumstance where you need to drive from 0 to 130. But most of us will spend more money and all that stuff. It's the same argument. You tend to find people who've got a $10,000 stereo in their car and don't even have a $600 radio in their house. Right? Right?
Yeah.
So there is the things that when you're talking about, do I really need it, or am I doing it because I need to fit into certain things? Am I playing the low level? Is desire therefore? Am I playing the ego game where what I think I need is to satisfy me or to fit into a certain expression or environment? And that to me is where most people end up, that having achieved all those things, you wake up one morning and you had the ladder on the wrong side of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've been climbing the wrong side. So really, I think it's how do we really get clear about what desire is? And I think the greater question I want to throw back to you guys is, so does desire look the same at beginning, mid, and accomplishment? Does it evolve? Does it change? Does it remain, to use Chris's word, does it remain a core, or does it evolve as you evolve and circumstances change? What is your thoughts?
Well, I'll jump in first of all and say, 100% it evolves, right? Because as our level of awareness increases, therefore the depth becomes greater, right? And I think if it doesn't evolve, there is a danger that we can go into this thinking, hey, this is our level of desire, and then guess what? We achieve it, and then what? Right? Like John says,
does it evolve or does it grow? According to you, does it evolve or does it grow?
I think it evolves.
Is it the same thing? Is it a different thing?
I don't know.
Right?
Well, evolving means I could evolve from light to dark or whatever. I mean, I've always changed, right?
Yeah.
To me, when
that's how you interpret that.
Does the core change?
Yeah. I look at it as developing, right? So as it develops, I don't think it should go from A to B, right? No. I don't think it should, because if it does, then was it a true desire in the first place? Exactly. Probably not, right? But if it gets an A+++, right, and then it involves more people and it's sort of expanding because of that, but again, will that expand, or is the residual things of what you're doing expanding, right? That are helping feed your desire is feeding them, right? So why you want to do it and the impact you want to have, you could find out that you're impacting more people because of as you grow and you develop and the desire. Let's use the word evolves, right? You realize that, hey, I thought that I just wanted to impact Jay, right? But now I realize that by doing this, I can impact Al, Giroux, and Jay, and then they can go and impact others, and therefore that has evolved, right? So my desire has always been to help other people, right? So develop other people. And Giroux, we were talking in Irvine, California at the Kajabi conference, right? About how, wouldn't it be great to develop programs where we contributed and we created a charity that built not just schools in Africa, but universities, right? So then we started impacting a continent. And so I still have that desire to get leadership principles and a growth mindset, a solution-oriented thinking to teenagers, all right? But I'm doing it through current leaders, right? And so my vision has evolved in terms of I want to be a pinnacle leader, right? So a level 5 on the 5 levels of leadership, where I develop other people that are developing other people, and then the impact of what I'm doing is much broader.
Well, if I may, as soon as you started talking about this, I automatically went back to John's teaching of moving from success to significance, right? And I think that's really that your desire has evolved. Hey, I wanted to reach this level, but now it's involved so I can actually reach this larger, broader community or whatever it is that you're working on. Impact more people's lives for the positive. I don't know.
Yeah, I love it. So what I hear you guys saying is the quality of seed determines the harvest.
Right. Correct. Yes.
So if you plant significant seeds, the tree doesn't change. It just produces more and gives you a bigger shade.
Right.
So what we're saying is that if we get really core to the desire, according to what you're saying, Chris, and stay true to that, its truest expression is the development.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I love that, about the the expression of the tree, because the whole time I was thinking about, not only do we want to impact other people's lives and everything that we're doing, we want to create in them an opportunity that when we plant a seed and it blossoms in this big, beautiful tree, and now we've impacted others, those trees plant seeds. And so those seeds create a whole forest. And so the goal is in everything that all of us are doing is not just to impact the individual, but to impact the people that individual has influence over. And that's building that up.
Yeah.
So I know when I was a military leader, one of the things I was responsible for is training leaders to lead well, but then training them how to develop leaders. It wasn't just now you're a great leader, now go to work. It was now you're a great leader. Okay. Go and develop leaders. And I think that's what we want to do as coaches and trainers and influencers is, what am I doing that's going to increase not just my influence, but help them build their influence and build that impact. So we can plant a seed like Johnny Appleseed did, right? But next thing you know, you got a whole grove of apples, and we want to go for the full orchard.
Okay, hey, so let me. We're gonna wrap up. Bring it in for a length. We're getting some echo from somewhere. You notice that?
Yeah.
That's gonna be it. Anyways, I want to read a statement to you. It's 3 words, and I want to get your insight and advice in that. And that's how we'll close things out here, because we're coming up to another 20 minutes here. Desire attracts opportunity. Desire attracts opportunity. Drew, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that's a law. Great desires produce and attract great opportunities. Wrong desires birth wrong opportunities. So to me, it's a law. And it's a law just as much as water can quench you and it can drown you. It's a law. Right? And so I think, therefore, the quality of opportunities will always be a reflection of the clarity of a desire.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Jay?
I was watching Katrina over here listening to Jeru, okay? So I'm busting it. And she is basically listening, and she's looking over at me and going, wow. Mind blown. So, and
I'll
she's
send
so
Katrina her package later on. So,
Jeru, you're so right on. I mean, oh my gosh, there's a dark side to desire. Like you talk, there's a bad desire, you're going to get bad results. A good desire, great desire, you're going to get great results. You're going to attract. It does fall under the law of attraction. Our persona, our whole being is going to attract exactly who we are, not always what we're doing. And when we are in an environment that feeds that desire, we give off an energy. We stand taller, we stand prouder, we're smiling, we're in a good mood. People see that, people feel that, and you're going to get more of that. And you're going to be able to give more of that energy when you get that energy. As an entertainer, if I perform for a deadbeat, if I perform for the mortuary, I'm going to give that kind of performance. Sometimes I feel like I've performed for mortuaries, okay? But thankfully, for the most part, I get an audience that is high energy, interactive, acting goofy with me, because I do a lot of comedy in it. They're having a great time. They're up, they're moving, they're dancing, they're loving it, right? I'm energetic. So that makes me perform even better. So I have a great desire to give a great performance. I get out there and I give that energy, but then I get that energy back, and it only compounds. So I think there's a dark side, because if we desire things not aligned with what our values, first of all, do we know what our values are? Some people don't actually have a clearly defined value. Okay, they don't know what their value system is. They just take life as it comes and say, "Ho hum, poor me." Life is what it is. Well, you know, and it's like bashing my head up against the wall when I try to tell them life is how you build it, and you're not building.
Right.
And so we're going to have a desire in our life that actually does reflect that attracts that. If we got a desire for drugs, we're going to attract drug dealers and drug users. Okay, and but if we have a desire to grow and impact, guess what we're attracting? Chris and Al and Giroux.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Here's how I look at that as well, and build on both of your ideas there, right? That, like you say, the opportunities exist around us all the time, right? And you know, there's the saying that when the student is ready, the teacher will come, right? And like to Jay's point there, right? If we went downtown Toronto now, right, there's going to be drug dealers and there's going to be positive, uplifting people in that city, right? If we are ready to receive the positive, uplifting people, we'll see them. If we're not, we'll see the drug dealers, right?
Yes.
And so I think the desire is what opens our eyes, right? The desire opens our eyes. And again, to use another analogy that we're all familiar with, it's like those radio frequencies, right? They exist all around us, but if we don't tune in to the right frequency, we're not going to hear it.
Exactly.
Right. But if we want to tune in and hear that, so if we've got that desire to be world leaders, right, to be influencers, to be part of Giroux's 100 Strong, that was what, you know, attracted us all initially, we tune into that, we're going to see that opportunity. Now, whether we grab it or not is up to us. But if the desire is strong enough, if it's deep enough, if it goes down to a core, we will see it, we will grab it, and we will do everything we can to make it happen. Right. But if we don't tune into it, it doesn't mean it's not there. It just means we don't see it.
Yeah, that's true. And I know we're winding up, but just real quick, and I think I want to build on something, Chris. So therefore, going back to the question, Al, that you asked, we must therefore come to the agreement that desire does not create opportunities. Desire gives us the opportunity to recognize existing opportunities. Because I was trying to look for this, and it boils down to something here. What Napoleon says, that you will become what you want to become when you are an expression of your most dominating thoughts that you permit to occupy your mind.
Right.
So desire to me is almost like a ticket, to use Chris's example. That ticket can take you to the drug dealers, or that ticket can take you to the stock exchange. All of them exist in the same environment.
Yeah.
So I think I more than anything else, and really I think what I'm hearing us saying is this: I think it really takes intention and great work to do the desire work, which I think most of us do it at a very limited, basic want, conditions, circumstances level. And then we go out in the world and we're wondering, how come there is no convergence of opportunity? You got a drug dealer's ticket, you're trying to go to the stock market, you're on the wrong bus. Right? So it doesn't matter how much you do of this until you change this desire or recognize a new desire. Only then will you realize that the stock market has always existed. You were just focused on something different. It was not the most dominating thought.
Right.
So does it create it? I don't know whether it creates. I think it exists. I think it just opens our eyes, brings awareness to an expression of itself through opportunity.
See, most people live under the impression that you have to see it to believe it, right? Whereas I think those of us that have got that desire and are the growth-minded mindset will know that when you believe it, you'll see it.
Well, that's what, one of the Napoleon's chapter 2. We could talk about this for all day. We don't have all day, but that's where the faith comes in, right?
Right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
anyways, I just like
Let's get Jay. Take a final thought from Jay.
30-second wrap up final thought. Jay, you go first.
30 seconds. Wow.
I know it's going to be challenging. It's going to be challenging for you, Jay.
It is.
And we are picking you on you now. We are picking you on you.
So you've given me 25 seconds now, okay? Shush. Okay,
you will claim back your time.
You know, I'm talking about time. Okay, so I think what Chris was saying when I was just, sometimes you have to see it to believe it or believe it to see it. I think sometimes we can see things in our mind's eye, create that vision, and then create a belief upon that vision that we have formulated. I believe that if you can see it in your mind's eye, you can become a believer of that. You don't have to see it physically, but you can see it in your mind. And once you do that, then you can start building it. You can believe it until you do get it. It's kind of borrowed belief. Borrowed belief. Okay. Time. Okay.
What? That's it?
That was
Great job. That was less than 30 seconds. Thank you. Drew, 30 seconds.
Yeah. Here's, I think my notion is, desire is an important foundation to accomplishing what it is that you want.
Yes.
Taking the time to figure out what desire really means and how it is expressed in your life is probably one of the most important work that we need to do. We tend to do that later after we've done all the other work. Then we want to figure out, can that shoe fit in here? Does what I'm doing fit there? And all that stuff. Instead of us figuring out, okay, you know what? Let me do this now. That is an expression, and everything else will fit in. So I think great topic. I think it is something that we all must do. And thank you for reminding me and us on this call of the value and the work that is required to intentionally express what is seeking to come in and through us. So thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah,
It's always been my desire to see this. So thank you.
Did you want to throw anything out there real quick?
Let me just clarify on what Jay was saying. Is the same as what I was thinking, although we said it slightly differently, right? So when I say most people want to see it before they believe it, I mean physically see it. What you're talking about, seeing it in your mind's eye, to me, that's the believe it, right?
Yes.
So we believe it's possible. So therefore, we got that vision, we see it, and then it's like, now let's go and do it. And I love it. And I think that's where we're all at, right?
Yes.
And that's what I love. And I love bringing these our four minds together. Well, five with Katrina sat the other side of the camera. Right? Five.
Just taking notes.
Yeah. Bring these minds together, because it does elevate the conversation. Because you look at where we started at the beginning of the first episode of this, right, to where we're at, like 52 minutes later on at the end of episode 2, we've all elevated our mindsets, right? We've all elevated our thought processes. And Katrina can share her notes because like we don't normally write notes down, so it's great. So thank you both for joining us. And
exactly. I just want to, again, thank you. It is a great topic, and I truly appreciate both Jay, Drew, Katrina. I appreciate all of you. We'll have to have Katrina on next time. We do a Jay and Katrina and Alan, Chris, and we can, and if Drew wants to join in too, we can. But I want to thank you and honor you both for giving up some of your time on a Sunday to sit down with us and to share your thoughts. I truly love all of you, and I appreciate all of you, and thank you. And for those that have listened, again, I hope you got some value out of this episode of the Raise Your Bars podcast. Sorry. And you can find us on our Raise Your Bars personal growth solutions group. And if you're a business owner, we also have the Raise Your Bars Profit Accelerator Facebook group, where we'd love to connect with you. And if you found value in this episode, share it with your friends, family, and coworkers. We would sincerely appreciate that. So again, thank you very much for tuning in. Stick around for a moment after I hit stop here, please, if you don't mind. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a great day.